Hey everybody, I know I don't usually release a video on Sunday, but I have found some crazy stuff that I just felt like I had to share. This video is going to have quite a few more clips than what I typically put in a video. A lot of this stuff I was looking for content to go ahead and get a jump on Monday's video, but some of this stuff is just so fascinating I thought I'm just going to make it today. But I hope you all enjoy. Now let's get after it.
Scientists just pulled bacteria out of 5,000-year-old ice, and it is already resistant to 10 different antibiotics before it ever even touched a human. This is obviously terrifying, but this team of researchers in Romania just dug into one of the oldest underground ice blocks on the entire planet. And by the way, they found a bacteria species that's been frozen for over 5,000 years. Okay, so leave it alone. And this is where it gets insane, because whenever they tested it against modern antibiotics, which is what we use right now in hospitals, it was resistant to 10 of them. Across 8 different drug classes, by the way, including the heavy stuff like 3rd generation last resort antibiotics. Believe it or not, that's not even the crazy part, because whenever they sequenced the genome, they found over 100 different resistant genes. They're saying that this thing developed antibiotic resistance thousands of years before we even invented antibiotics. The bacteria right now is officially technically classified as an opportunistic human pathogen, which means that under the right conditions, it can affect people. Maybe, hear me out, maybe we should leave it alone.
You just know that the US government and China are both chomping at the bits to try to get their hands on this so they can turn it into some sort of a bioweapon. I guess we know what the next pandemic's going to be caused from. In fact, with as much as they lie to us, I wouldn't doubt that this isn't even a true story. It wouldn't surprise me if we were to find out that this whole story was just a fake narrative just to give themselves an origin story for the next big outbreak.
So when I was talking to this Navy commander, he was like, man, there are cognitive warfare weapons that deploy technologies and it creates a confusion field. And you walk into it and you're totally like disoriented. You don't know where you are. You can't think straight. He was like, imagine one that is a time warper where either time seems to start moving extremely slowly or extremely quickly. What? This is like 4 months ago. He's like, those types of weapons exist.
How does that happen?
There's a device called an LRAD, a long-range acoustic device. Private entities can purchase them, and it shoots like a beam of sound, right? They use it for crowd control. During like the whole piracy scare, like the Captain Phillips era, those private vessels, they don't want it to take lethal force. So they started outfitting those with LRADs. Let's say a boat, you're about to be hijacked, right? And you have these LRADs. They look like satellite dishes almost. And you point it at this boat, you can create a beam of sound that can make it intolerable, where it will turn the vessel around. And there's no defense from it. But there's also frequencies that you can take the same principles that the guy Jose Delgado was experimenting with back in like the 60s, where it's mood altering.
You guys did this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, we wanted to see if we could technologically simulate telepathy and make someone believe that they were experiencing telepathy. So we did this whole setup, but you could see someone's whole worldview change, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like someone's sitting there and their whole face, they're like, I hear a voice in my head, you know, like.
Oh, it's so scary.
But if you think about like what's available to governments,
That's scary.
that is very scary.
I don't like that.
Listening to this makes me wonder if that general that come out a few months ago and made the claim that the United States has technology that allows them to alter space and time, it makes me wonder if maybe this is the technology he was referring to. Because I don't believe for a second that they actually have the capability to, for example, send a human back 10 years ago to change history. I genuinely think that if we ever developed a technology like that, the whole world would instantly fall apart. You would have too many people trying to go back and manipulate things for their own personal benefit. Absolutely everything would just completely unravel. And the only people who would have access to a technology like that are really bad people. Because the only people who ever weasel their way into the top are power-hungry people with horrible intentions. So those would be the only types of people who would have access to that type of technology if it existed. What do y'all think?
All right, check this out. So 2 Harvard students show how Meta's Ray-Ban smart glasses combined with facial recognition software can turn a fashion accessory into a serious privacy threat. Here's how it all works. The glasses basically live stream video. The AI scans the faces, and it could pull up names, documents, addresses, even phone numbers. That's right, even phone numbers. But the scariest part is not all of that. It's that you can't stop it. You can ban it, you could try to regulate it, but once the tech exists, someone will always find a way to use it and manipulate it. So the students just made this demo in order to raise awareness, not to release any code or anything like that, but it's just proof of how exposed we all are. So you gotta see this video, check it out.
To use it, you just put the glasses on, then as you walk by people, the glasses will detect when somebody's face is in frame. This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up on your phone. Cambridge Crazy. Oh, hi, ma'am. Wait, are you Betsy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I met you through like the Cambridge Community Foundation, right? Yeah. It's great to meet you. I'm Kane.
Oh wait. So do you happen to be the person working on like minority stuff for like Muslims in India at all or something?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you Kashif?
Yes.
Oh, I've read your work before. It's super cool.
So here's how it works. We stream the video from the glasses straight to Instagram and have a computer program monitor the stream. We use AI to detect when we're looking at someone's face. Then we scour the internet to find more pictures of that person. Finally, we use data sources like online articles and voter registration databases to figure out their name, phone number, home address, and relatives' names. And it's all fed back to an app we wrote on our phone.
Is your address for Valley?
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah.
Is
oh my. Yes.
That's scary.
also attended Yale's Young
That
Global
is
Scholar Summer Program.
insane.
Really?
Yeah, these are me in like middle school.
Oh my god. What about John and Susan? Are they your
Those are my parents.
parents? Okay.
Wow. So crazy. This is like, they're geniuses and criminal at the same time. Like, that is nuts. Wow. So just be careful with what you're posting out there on social media or anywhere for that matter, because you don't know who's using that data, and if it gets in the wrong hands, I mean, everything goes south, right? So just be careful with what you're putting out there.
I think it would make more sense to do a background check on someone buying a pair of these Meta AI goggles than it would to do a background check on someone buying a firearm. If you really stop and think about it, what would anyone actually need a pair of glasses like this for? Granted, it could have other capabilities, but why would someone need this specific feature? Why would anyone need to walk into a crowd and look at someone they don't know and then instantly pull up all this personal information about them? This feels like a product that was specifically made for stalkers and people with bad intentions.
Did you guys hear what Kim Kardashian is now publicly endorsing? She's partnered with this company, which is extremely strange for many reasons. Also notably because the Cardassians in the Star Trek universe was an alien race of reptilians, and she happened to dress up as a albino reptilian last Halloween. But anyway, I'm sure that's nothing. Check out, and are you gonna buy some of this stuff and have a yummy meal? Check it out.
I believe so much in the mission of Beyond Meat that I've stepped in to help with my greatest asset, my taste. This plant-based meat is not only amazingly delicious, but it's also better for you and better for the planet.
The planet.
It's a simple change that makes a really big difference.
The planet. Really.
And now that I'm Beyond Meat's chief taste consultant, there's never been a better time to go beyond.
Well, I can't imagine someone setting a better example than a Kardashian. So let's find out what's really being promoted here, especially when we know they're already talking about lab-grown meat, banning, there's a plan to change the food supply, let's just put it that way. But it's interesting because Beyond Meat says it's non-GMO. But the last I checked, canola oil, seed oils, which we know are super healthy, right? According to the mainstream. Canola oil, 99 some odd percent of it, it is one of the main GMO crops. So the fact that it's canola oil and it doesn't say organic canola oil is interesting. But then you also have natural flavors, which if you do a deep dive into the terminology when it comes to labeling and whatnot, the term natural means nothing. So this is a buzzword. That could be GMO corn. That could be, a lot of other things that aren't natural. I mean, lead is natural. Arsenic is natural. The word natural means nothing. This is a marketing ploy. So I would never eat it. Let me know if Mrs. Kardashian there convinced you should try some Beyond Meat now.
I put a title at the beginning of this clip telling everyone pay close attention to the details. If you go back and watch that, you'll notice At no point during that advertisement does she ever actually put this stuff in her mouth. You'll see her chewing. You'll see her picking up a little fake nugget that's looks like it's got a bite taken out of it, but you never see her take a bite of anything. You never even see her put it in her mouth. And honestly, it shouldn't be surprising to anyone that although she clearly doesn't actually believe in this product, she's not even tasting it in the ad that she's being paid to do. It shouldn't be surprising to anyone that she's doing something nefarious for a paycheck. Isn't that what her entire career is based off of?
Hey, remember when people were upset about RAM prices skyrocketing because of the RAM shortage, because these companies were giving their RAM to the AI data centers, and people were worried that they were going to go after other computer components? They were right. Western Digital has sold all of their hard disk drives to AI data centers. So Western Digital has said they are completely sold out of hard disks for the year of 2026, and they are in long-term agreements for the next couple of years. And they say, well, it's not that big of a deal because only 5% of our revenue comes from hard disk sales. 89% comes from cloud services, so it's a no-brainer. So we have hard disk drive shortage, RAM shortage, solid state shortage, and now we couple that with Jeff Bezos saying, you don't need a PC. We'll just give you a box and you can rent a PC through the cloud from us. I know the saying. I've heard it too many times. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. I get it. But seeing it happen in front of my eyes still elicits an emotional response for some reason. And mind you, I'm talking about just PCs right now, but this applies to everything technological. PCs, laptops, phones, anything with a screen like this that uses RAM and storage. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bubble. It's a bubble. There's no profit so far. Nothing has been profitable. All these companies are partnering with them. They're building these mega structures. These data centers are literally creating shortages in our materials. And yet so far there is no viable method outside of putting ads in your chatbot.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that this switch is coming. They're going to make it impossible for you to either purchase a home computer or to purchase the components to build one yourself. You can still get hard drives and RAM. It's just super expensive and there's a long waiting list in a lot of places. But if you're in need of an upgrade, if you're still running an old machine and you've got the ability to go get something new, now is the time to get it. Go upgrade your device before it is no longer an option. And that's a very interesting point, that they're investing all of this stuff into AI, that there are product shortages because of the AI, and these AI models have not even become profitable yet. If they're burning through all this money with no hope of recouping it in the long run, there has to be an ulterior motive. But anyone who's paying attention, anyone who watches this channel regularly, we all know what the motive is. Money is nice, but control is the real goal.
I am not letting anyone on God's green earth try to gaslight me into thinking that these are natural aurora lights. I'm just not. People in my comments section saying, go back to high school, research something for once. You guys have fun reading the textbook that Ghislaine Maxwell's father wrote for you, okay? Have fun researching other researchers. Basically, all you're doing is regurgitating information from somebody else. You never touched it, sniffed it, felt it, nothing. But moving on. One of the biggest things that I noticed about these aurora lights that we've been spotting is they look nothing like the aurora spots that are regularly sighted in places like Alaska. Can you spot the difference? Can you tell me how on every single one of these pictures there are swirls and lines?
Overnight, brilliant shades of red, green, and purple painted the sky from San Francisco Bay to farmland in Wisconsin. Here's a pilot's view over Chicago.
Now compare those aurora lights to the aurora lights that people see on a regular basis in Alaska. Totally different. The aurora lights we're seeing, do you see how different they are? Almost boring compared to these aurora lights, where there's swirls, multiple colors, lines in the sky. This isn't anything like the ones that we're seeing today. I will say in my comment section, I've seen a lot of people say that wildlife is acting bizarre, their animals are acting weird, they are feeling weird, and I can vouch for that. Almost anybody that I have talked to on this app, whether they are a follower of mine and reached out, or whether they are also another content creator, that I have felt off for the past year. To be honest with you guys, look at my post. This month has been the worst for me. But you guys tell me, do you guys honestly feel like the northern lights that we have been seeing recently are anything compared to the other places all over the world that see them on a regular basis?
It almost reminds me of the colors that you see in a mud puddle whenever someone spills gasoline in it. My bet is this either has something to do with all the chemicals they're spraying in the atmosphere, or they're fine-tuning the projection for Project Bluebeam. They're getting ready to launch their first big deception. And there are a ton of things pointing toward that being the case. But this is a good example of why it's important to pay close attention to the fine details. Just because there's some pretty colors in the sky that look similar does not mean that we're looking at the same thing.
The speech is already written, according to insiders, and now there's an official order to release everything. So Trump just posted this on Truth Social tonight, saying that he's directing the Secretary of Defense and other agencies to identify and release government files tied to UFOs, UAPs, aliens, and extraterrestrial life, everything. Now, for weeks there's been a rumor going around via UK filmmaker Mark Christopher Lee, who said that one of his trusted, vetted insiders told him that Trump had a prepared speech which would happen on July 8th of this year, the anniversary of the Roswell crash of all days, confirming that we're not alone. And you probably remember the other day when Barack Obama said aliens exist in an interview. Well, he walked that back pretty quickly, but right before the file drop announcement, Trump was answering questions before hopping onto Air Force One and said that Obama may have disclosed classified information. Just listen.
So aliens are real? Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
So now people are asking, is this the start of real disclosure, or a major distraction, or the start of something else, like Project Bluebeam? No doubt you've seen tons of people comment Bluebeam on various videos about UFOs or alien content over the years. So what is it? Well, long story short, this was a conspiracy theory created by a guy named Serge Monast in the early 1990s. He claimed that a powerful group would stage a global event, like a major religious event or a fake alien invasion, using advanced holographic technology, mass psychology, to trigger fear and unify people under a new one-world government. Now, I don't know if any of that's true, but we know for the past several years that we've had government hearings, declassified footage, and testimony about UFOs and non-human intelligence. So has this all been part of a plan to get us used to the idea that aliens are real and might be among us? What do you think is going to happen with this? Is this just a distraction from everything else going on, or are we really looking at disclosure and the answer to possibly the biggest question in human history?
With the rampant increase of all of this UFO and alien talk, I can't help but to think that they've got something planned that's about to come to fruition. They're about to hit us with some great deception. But seeing that this is potentially on the horizon, I've been reading a lot of scripture, and there's one thing that all of us Christians can use to defend ourselves against being deceived from this. Just keep in mind, if you're out checking the mail and you look up and suddenly you see some deity floating in the sky and they're trying to convince you that Christ has returned, just remember what Scripture says is supposed to happen immediately after that. All of the believers are supposed to be called up to him in the sky. And we shouldn't even be having this happen yet because the two witnesses have yet to come. This is why it's so important to be reading the Bible to protect yourself against being deceived. Because it is going to be very easy for them to deceive a lot of us. Especially when you look at all of the signs and the warnings that we're supposed to see that clue us in to the fact that we're in our final days. Almost everything has happened. I have zero doubt that we are nearing the end.
Yo, pause. Where the did 3i Atlas go? And why is nobody talking about the chilling public announcement the CIA quietly released about it at the end of 2025? Remember that interstellar object that was making its way towards us for like the entire second half of 2025? The one that scientists, professors, and just hordes of people online were insisting may in fact be an alien spaceship? Did anyone else notice how everyone just almost immediately stopped talking about it at the same time? Shortly after it made its closest approach to us here on Earth on December 19th, 2025. And these Photoshop lens flare looking edits are still somehow the best photos NASA has been able to take of it. 3i Atlas was all the rage in 2025, and now radio silence. And there's a very specific reason for that. Because first, this video started circulating online after 3i's closest approach to us in December. Some sort of aerial phenomenon of concentric circles in the shape of a wheel in the sky, which people are saying looks a lot like Ezekiel's wheel, or the Ophanim from the Bible, a biblically accurate depiction of an angel, with bodies covered in eyes and moving with wheels within wheels, according to the book of Ezekiel. But of course, this video was allegedly determined to be AI, and for argument's sake, sure, let's just say it is, because these photos of 3i Atlas sure aren't. Captured by amateur astrophotographer Diego Santarujo on November 20th, 2025, just a month earlier, compiling 4,000% deep zoom images over a 20-minute stacked exposure, and I don't know, let me know if you see it too. Then on January 14th, 2026, Hubble Space Telescope observed 3 mini-jets shooting out of 3i, each one separated by near perfect 120-degree angles from the other, something that Avilob agrees looks very artificial. But they're calling it a natural outgassing, and I don't know what kind of natural object has something this precise going on, but hey, that's just me. Well then, on January 22nd, 2026, we had another extremely rare alignment of 3i with Earth, with it being positioned directly in front of us and the sun directly behind us, what we could call full moon alignment, giving us peak visibility and the best opportunity to have a good look at this comet that we've had so far. And well, this is NASA's newest official pic of it. Somehow they just always disappoint. As expected, any other valuable information from this rare alignment they are most likely gatekeeping. In fact, they admitted they are gatekeeping info about 3i Atlas when UFO researcher John Greenwald Jr., founder of the Black Vault, a digital archive housing over 2 million pages of declassified US government documents, confronted the CIA with a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act request, to have them disclose more information about 3i once and for all. I mean, it's just a comet after all. Surely this shouldn't be a big deal. On December 31st, 2025, this is how the CIA responded, reading, "Any assessments, reports, or communications maintained by the CIA referencing 3i Atlas from June 1st, 2025 to the present, in accordance with Section 36A of Executive Order 13526, the CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsive to your request," telling us that all information on 3i Atlas is now officially classified, and his request was denied. Kind of an odd thing to say about just a comet, don't you think? 3i Atlas continues to zoom through our solar system and will be passing by Jupiter in March. Another extremely rare and just coincidental alignment, making its closest approach to NASA's active Juno spacecraft currently orbiting Jupiter on March 16th, 2026, with some reports claiming it may even pass close enough to get captured by Jupiter's gravity, giving it a new moon, and giving us yet another golden opportunity to take some close-up photos and further observations of 3i Atlas before it leaves our neighborhood for good. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what new excuses and bullshit lens flare photos they'll be giving us then.
At this point, I don't know what I think 3i Atlas actually is. I think for the most part, I'm still leaning toward it just being some deception, that they were just revealing something that was of no importance and trying to convince us that it was of importance, basically just to gauge how the public would react to information like that. But to find out that the CIA has classified everything in regards to 3i Atlas as essentially top secret information, and they refuse to release any of that info to the public. If this were just a rock, why in the world would they do that? But I thought that this was an interesting new development, and it certainly doesn't cast NASA in a good light that they're supposed to be our official eyes in space, and every image they gave us of this object was clearly designed to deceive the public.
Starlink satellites are literally falling back to Earth non-stop right now, and scientists are now warning that the debris is already damaging our ozone layer. Dude, this is obviously insane. Right now, there are over 9,000 different Starlink satellites in orbit, and SpaceX has plans for over 70,000 more. Whenever these satellites end, by the way, they're supposed to fall back to Earth and burn up in the atmosphere, and SpaceX says that they specifically designed them to completely disintegrate. But that's not what's happening. There was a 5-pound chunk of a Starlink satellite that crashed into a farm in Canada. Debris also randomly turned up in Poland, Kenya, North Carolina, and Algeria. So obviously they're not burning up like they're supposed to. The brand new generation satellites that are coming out right now weigh 2 metric tons each, which is now 8 times heavier than the original ones. They're saying that whenever these satellites burn up, they actually release a thing that's called aluminum oxide, and scientists are saying that a single particle of that can destroy thousands of ozone molecules. They also just found that the atmospheric aluminum oxide has already increased by 800% since 2016. And because it takes those particles 20 to 30 years to fully drift down, we won't see the full damage until the 2040s. So what are we doing?
I just don't see how, as a species, we survive the next 100 years. The way they race to implement this technology, also they can line their pockets, and they'll fudge scientific data to back up what they're wanting to do so that no one sees any risk in anything, or anyone who even proposes any objections to what they're intending to do gets labeled as a pseudoscientist or a nut job. Then their entire career is flushed down the toilet because they're not going along with the mainstream narrative. If we were to make it another 100 years, this planet is going to be uninhabitable, and it's not because we didn't step in time to stop global warming. It's going to be because of stuff like this. They're already making it impossible to grow non-genetically modified seeds in soil, and in 30 or 40 years when all of this stuff is hitting the ground finally, it's probably going to be so bad that even the genetically modified stuff is not going to grow anymore. Who knows what this is going to do to the planet?
We're running out of time. Agenda 2030 is coming, and if we don't wake enough people up, we're screwed. I don't buy that anymore, and here's why. If you haven't heard about Veda Austin yet, you are in for a treat. Veda's work strongly suggests that water can receive and respond to information, things like intention, words, emotion, music, imagery, even distant directed focus. She'll take water in a petri dish, expose it to a specific stimulus, a written word, a song, a picture, a frequency, an emotion. She'll have someone thousands of miles away concentrate on a specific intention, and then she uses a unique freezing method to reveal what the water forms. And what shows up is wild. The water creates these intricate crystalline patterns, almost like it's offering its own artistic interpretation of what it was just exposed to. Water changing its orientation based on what it was exposed to, visible to the naked eye. It's also important to know that she has tens of thousands of documented examples of this, and she's also teaching it to other people who are repeating the same methods and getting the exact same results. So what does that have to do with waking people up? You're not just around water, you are water. About 70% by mass and about 99% by molecular count. So if water responds to information, then what do you think you're responding to all day? And what do you think you're transmitting to the bodies of water around you? Yeah, Alec, but what does it have to do with Agenda 2030? That's still happening, and we need to wake people up. Here's why it has to do with Agenda 2030. When Veda cracks open pasture-raised eggs and freezes the albumin, which is the clear runny part of the egg, she finds these beautiful, flowery, feathery patterns all throughout the egg, because this is an egg coming from a chicken who are raised as chickens are supposed to be raised, versus when she does the same thing with a caged egg, which is coming from a chicken that was pumped with hormones, antibiotics, vaccines, under artificial light, fed an unnatural diet, in perpetual fight or flight. She finds that the albumin is in a state of discord, and all of this is visible to the naked eye. That's already incredible, but here's where it gets even more incredible. Veda took one pasture-raised egg and surrounded it with 12 caged eggs and left it in this orientation overnight. And when she cracked all of them open and froze the albumin, this is what she found. All of the caged eggs had improved in their crystallography, visible to the naked eye, and the pasture-raised egg was itself completely unimpacted. And then she did it again and got the exact same results. So yes, it matters that we speak about what's going on in the world. I do it too. But if we want to actually change reality, we have to change ourselves. And then by changing ourselves, we're embodying coherence. And by embodying coherence, just by virtue of existing, we are having a direct impact on all of those around us. So of course, please keep speaking up using your voice, but more importantly, cultivate inner coherence in your beliefs, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. So you can be like that pasture-raised egg and help caged eggs around you remember who they are and return to coherence.
I thought this was absolutely fascinating. And we don't get a lot of good news nowadays in regards to this whole 2030 agenda. But if you think about it, when scripture tells us to be a light unto the world, it kind of adds a whole new meaning to that concept. Just imagine if you're in a room with 12 people and they're all panicking and freaking out because they're finally realizing what's going on around them, and they see you calmly sitting in the corner. Who in that room is going to have everyone else drawn to them? Who in that room is going to be looked at for reassurance? It's not going to be any of the people that are panicking. And maybe this concept isn't really going to amount to anything, but I want to have faith that it will. I want to have faith that as long as there's a good portion of us out here who are paying attention and trying to do the right thing and trying to work toward peace, that maybe we can pull along with us some of the people who aren't paying attention, just simply by some of the off-the-cuff comments that you make in daily conversation when you're checking out at the gas station or at the grocery store. Those things are going to impact people. Those things are going to make people stop and think, because most people do not speak the way we all do. But I thought this was fascinating, and that's why I wanted to end with it. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow with another one. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to drop your theories and your comments in the comment section down below. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.